Hare Krishna. Ptolemy's model we have studied in the last class. Now we will go further. The Western religion has adopted the Ptolemy's model. Why? Why means the Ptolemy's model has provided ample space above the fixed star sphere. Space is there here. If we see that biblical model of the universe, so after the stars and all the things, ample space is there. So they adopted it above the firmament, and they are given heaven, dwellings place for God and all the things. So what happens that Ptolemy not told anything what is available after the fixed stars. Now this biblical model, they can say that after fixed stars, God's place is there, heaven is there. Even though the Ptolemy's model of the earth was a sphere, it was a sphere. Unlike the flat earth of the biblical model, still they accepted it because he provided ample space above earth sphere. Western intellectuals also adopted this model. That's why that Western religion has adopted it. After this Ptolemy, important person will consider as Nicholas Copernicus, 1473 to 1543. He was a Polish priest, mathematician and also astronomer. Because he was a priest, he circulated his model anonymously. It was because of the fear of being branded as heretic by the church. Heretic means opinion expressed contrary to the accepted doctrine of the church. Then there will be fear of persecution, ill treatment, etc. What we call in ours, it is called Bahishkara. So he was afraid of that. That's why he anonymously circulated it among his friends and like that. What was his model? Some changes is there. Ptolemy's and his, some changes is there. In Ptolemy's model and even earlier model of the biblical universe models, at the center earth is there. Either it is a sphere or it is a plate, whatever it may be, it is in the center of the universe. But in his model, the sun is at the center of the universe and it is stationary. Like earth, what earlier model they says. He says sun is stationary in the middle of the universe. The earth and all other planets move around the sun in circular orbit. Of course, the stars also, everything, whatever it may be, all the celestial objects and the cosmic objects, they all, planets, everything, including the earth, they rotate around the sun. So this is the sun at the center. Churches were not ready to accept it. Earth at the center, let it be a plate or let it be a sphere. They adjusted it. They agreed for it. They accommodated it. But sun at the center, they have not accepted it. Earth at the center of universe, the idea of Ptolemy was only accepted by them. A century later, John Kepler and Galileo supported this Copernicus model. John Kepler, during 1571 to 1630 AD, he was a German astronomer, mathematician. During that 17th century, there was a great scientific revolution going on in the Western world. Kepler, he has done some modification on the Copernicus theory. What is there? He has done is, he suggested the planets moved in circular orbit, orbiting the sun. It was there earlier. He says that instead of circular path, he suggested elliptical path, elongated circle, oval shaped path. This is the oval shaped, what Kepler has suggested. Earlier earth was flat like that, it was there. Afterwards it was modified that earth is a sphere. And now this Kepler, he suggested that instead of sphere, it is not sphere, it is oval. What is oval? See, somebody, you might have seen Bombay, near a circus station, if you go little by walk, there is one oval ground is there. Wonderful, in posh locality, oval ground is there. What I heard in Mysore also, in the university side, oval ground is there. So oval is very important. Oval shaped, it is there. Like that, John Kepler. Then more revolution come in the standpoint of universe. Galilio, during say 1564 to 1642, he was an Italian astronomer, physicist and engineer also. He himself invented a telescope. Very, very important. Telescope is very, very milestone in that. Earlier, some glassmakers also invented on their own some telescopes. So he observed the universe. He discovered moons for the planet Jupiter. Jupiter also has got moons. He observed. Then he implied that every object need not have to orbit the sun. Now, as for the Kepler, all will orbit around the sun. But he showed that Jupiter planet is orbiting around the sun, but the some moons of the Jupiter planet, they are orbiting the Jupiter itself. However, intellectuals, they thought, let it be that moons are orbiting the Jupiter, but Jupiter is orbiting the sun. So everybody is orbiting the sun. Like that they told. So that happened. Afterwards, even though intellectuals, that mathematicians and scientists have agreed it, some problem has come. Galileo supported Copernicus theory, of the universe. That is, he also told that Earth is rotating daily itself. It itself rotated and revolving around the sun also as well. Then the problem came. He met with opposition from within the Catholic Church. Because now sun is at the center and some moons of the Jupiters are there. They are orbiting the Jupiter. So this is the problem has happened. So church interfered. He faced opposition. He was tried by the church, sentenced, and he was put on house arrest. So that he spent his rest of life in house arrest only. Even in jail also, he contributed works in science, kinematics and strength of mathematics. So he was a great mathematician. He predicted this like this. He shown it through his telescope that some moons are there for Jupiter and they are spherically revolving around the Jupiter, and in hence the Jupiter also moving. But it was not agreed during that period, because their thinking was that Earth only at the center. Anyhow, these philosophers and scientists, they started improving their theories one by one, and it is coming to some conclusion, logic conclusion. And next what happens? The concept of this philosopher and also this cosmologists, mathematicians, we will see in next class. Namaste.